Hello and welcome to this week's Confident Club Cuppa.
Hello Curly, hello everybody.
Hi Steve.
What we're banging on about this week then to do with how to be a
Oh,
duck
it's
up?
one of your favourites.
What
one
is
of your
it?
favourites this.
It is. Is
Don't, it's about being a duck up, don't take personal responsibility for your life and results. Now, did you know here, according to you, Steve,
Yes.
it said there's three types of people.
Yeah.
1, those who make it happen. 2, those who watch it happen. And 3, those who say, what happened?
Yeah.
So, naturally, if our girl is developing, because it's about being a duck up, if we talk about developing lasting underachievement, we need to ensure we belong to that third group.
Yeah.
In order to do that, you must believe that where you find yourself today has little, if anything, to do with you.
Indeed, it's such a tough belief for a lot of people
Yeah.
to have, and you know we've been through the chicken of doom times, haven't we, and all that.
I know we're joking about it, but it's a challenge.
Yeah, it is. And I think the thing is, I think when we talk about beliefs as well, when we talk about a lot of beliefs on quite a few couples, if you haven't seen in previous couples, is that people want you to prove to them that it's true, that the belief's true, right?
Yeah.
And they get lost in, give me the evidence that you need to be 100% accountable and responsible for all your results and how you feel and all that. And you go, I'm not interested in that. You know, you can maybe find the truth in it. What's more interesting is just choosing to believe it. How does it make you behave, and therefore what results you get? That's the key. Because when people just choose not to, either, and probably unconsciously, to be victims and go, it's circumstances, it's the weather, it's other people, it's the economy, it's the chicken of doom, it's all these other reasons, then it makes you powerless to do anything.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas if you go, I have a choice to how I react
The
to
wonderful
this.
Clive Gott.
Yes.
The wonderful
God
Clive
rest his
Gott.
soul.
Who was hilariously funny and very inspirational. He used to call them but people.
Yeah.
And he used to say this, and I know a lot of people
You
like
used to
this.
call them outboard motors.
Outboard motors, that was it. So you'll say to somebody, why don't you do A, B, C and D? They go, yes, but. Yes, but. So I think that's a really good example.
Yeah, so reasons and excuses, isn't it, really? And normally your reasons is just an excuse why you can't do something. We've talked about if somebody else is in your circumstances and can do it, then that's probably not true. I think we're all dealt out with certain cards, cliche, right? If I had my cliche bell for the people who were sure I'd ring it.
Dong.
We're all dealt certain cards. It's like how you play them. You know, so Paralympics have been on recently.
Yeah, we were watching it this morning.
Wow, you know, you go, so look at that. The cards those people have been dealt, but I'm going to deal with it in this way. Best example I always use is my kids, right? Talking about my kids. So they're about 2 years apart. So we had that wonderful experience, which we didn't have in our day, where you get study leave. So we used to I don't think we ever got time off school to revise.
No, I don't remember.
But I think so. This one other thing where Tom, oldest at the time, he was doing his A-levels and Finlay was doing his GCSEs at the same time. So they're both on study leave at the same time, which from my point of view seemed to just involve lying on the sofa watching Jeremy Kyle when he was used to be on the telly, right? So you don't want to interfere, you think. But after a couple of days of this, I thought I'd better ask him. So I said, lads, you know, how's it going as they're watching telly? Well, you know, how do you think you're both going to do in your exams? And both of them almost used the same as crap. Both, crap. I'm going to do crap. I'm going to do rubbish. And I went, why? Because our teachers are crap.
Oh, really?
And that's just a really simple example, perhaps you can all relate to, where you go.
Yeah.
Now, the actual reality may well be that their teachers weren't very good. But if they use the teachers as an excuse, they're not going to take any responsibility to go, well, what can I do about it, right?
Yeah.
How can I take responsibility for how I behave? So a lot of people, you know, talk about this. A lot of people talk about, you know, I don't feel very good. You know, I'm not talking about depression. That's a clinical illness. I'm talking about, you know, you just get out the wrong side of bed or whatever. And you go, it's because it's, you know, today it's a bit muggy, you know, it's the weather. So some people don't take responsibility because it's the weather that makes them how they feel. Or they find then they meet somebody else and let that other person impact on how they feel. And I think there's certain triggers in there. I've just got a new book called Triggers, right? That certain things trigger you. So I think it's finding that gap. So there's taking accountability, that's one thing, but also responsibility. Yeah. So it's like stuff happens all the time, doesn't it? And it's
That's my favourite word, stuff.
Yes,
It
stuff.
sums up, it's just... Yeah.
That's the polite way of saying it, stuff. Stuff hits the fan. Right?
Stuff hits the fan.
So, you know, cliches are often true. That's like the true because the cliches.
Yeah.
So, you know, the naughty step used to have when kids were little.
Yeah.
It was on 3 levels. I only just found out recently, Megan's now 26. She said, I don't know if you realise, Dad, I used to be on the top step and you couldn't see me, so I just used to go back to my bedroom and lie on my bed. So, but that's by the by. But that counting to 10, I think if I was to just give you one message from this in terms of take responsibility, go stimulus response. Something happens, own it and go, right, I have a choice now. I have a choice how I react to this, right? So I might need to, like with the kid, instead of going to like Mach 11, you know. So I remember Megan doing something and saying to her, if you keep doing that, you're never going to cinema again, you know, which is like overreaction. It's not the right response. You know, responsibility, your ability to be flexible in your response when something happens, right? I know on our workshop, because lots of stuff happens,
There's a lot of stuff on our workshop.
And we've just over time using that, taking responsibility, going, well, something's happened, but we are responsible for making it right, making it okay. You know, fire alarm's gone off, there's been a flood. I think what was it? A petrol
we've
fuel
had
dump blew up,
explosions.
you know, whatever. You go, well, that's happened. Let's choose the response.
I think too many people literally lie on the sofa waiting for somebody on the white charger to come along.
Yeah, and I think if I was as a fan of point, I think, well, okay, how do you do that? And I think a really practical way is to develop a series of like high quality questions you can ask yourself when something happens, right? So one would be, Clive Gott used to talk about, what can I learn from this?
Yeah, that's
so
a cracker,
you might not be able to sort it now, but next time if that happened, to do this. Or my other one is, you know, say one of your team members comes in, you know, that you've not been really looking after, you thought you were motivating them, but they come and go, I'm leaving. I'm not motivated, I'm going now. If you're not careful, you don't create that gap between stimulus and response, right? And you go, oh my goodness, we'll never replace them. Whereas if you ask a question like, and it'd be challenging, what's great about this problem? Then you're going to create more choice, right? So I think it's about just noticing what you're doing in your head, creating that gap and taking responsibility. Not easy to do, but I think it's the master skill. I don't know one successful person on the planet, sports person, business person, speaker, whatever they are, who doesn't take responsibility for everything.
Yeah. So take responsibility and see you soon. Bye.
I'll see you there.